Hello friends and welcome back to Digitalk. So in this session I am going to cover a few critical concepts of JBoss, okay, within 50. So we have two different modes in JBoss, like the standalone mode and the domain mode. In standalone mode we have only a single server, but when we talk about the domain mode, where we have the multiple servers scattered across the multiple machines, okay, for the high availability, where we have a one domain controller which control all the multiple slave nodes, okay, basically where our applications are deployed in the different servers. Okay, so I have seen many multiple confused engineer on these terms, like what are server groups, profiles, socket bindings, and deployments. Okay, how they are related, and when we configure some resources, okay, from the console or maybe using the CLI in the JBoss. Okay, so what kind of a things that we have to take care when we are creating the servers, or maybe when we are creating the server groups, profiles. Okay, so how it works exactly. So in just 15 minutes, okay, I will explain you all the concepts. I will execute, I will create all these resources from the console. Okay, and by the end of this session you will definitely have a complete clarity on all these concepts, how it works. Okay, so if I go back to my this JBoss console. Okay, so this is my JBoss console as of now, which is up and running in the deployment mode, domain mode. Okay, and if you want to see the topology means what is the architecture of your JBoss in the domain mode. Like if you are not aware about how many masters slaves are there, okay, what all are the servers are configured there, what all are the server groups are configured there. So very first thing, you have to go to console and go to the runtime. When you go to runtime, the very first step is topology. So topology give you information about the architecture of your JBoss, how it is configured. Okay, now how to understand? You can simply see here. So we have a one master. So master will always be one, which is going to control all the slave nodes. Okay, and then we have a two slave nodes with the name of slave and slave two. Okay, so that means in this particular architecture, one master is controlling two slave nodes. Okay, so that means two slave nodes, and in your environment you may have the multiple slave nodes based on the application loads and then users and multiple things. Okay, you may have a multiple servers in your environment. Okay, so as of now here we have two slave nodes, and you can see here corresponding to each and every slave we have one server. So slave, this is a slave corresponding, we have one server, demo server 1. Similarly to slave 2 we have a demo server 2. So these are the actual servers, application servers, where we deploy our applications. Okay, and these servers belong to the server group. What is the name of server group? Hello world group. Okay, so basically what happened in JBoss, apart from your master and slave nodes, okay, we have the actual servers where we deploy the application, and each and every server where we deploy the application will be part of a certain group, and there could be multiple groups. So as of now you can see here we have only one group. Okay, and this one group, and then the demo server 1 and demo server 2, which is belong to two different slaves, this is belong to same group here, server group here, right? So similarly you can have multiple server groups. What is the reason for that? You may have a different kind of applications, you may have a different kind of application for different clients, okay, that you wanted to segregate from some different applications. So you can create one server group for some other applications, other server group some other applications. Okay, it depends on your requirement. Okay, so basically topology is give you the information about the architecture. So here you can see the server group is giving the right direction, this is my server group, and host is giving the below direction, that means this is my host. Okay, so master slave, this everything is actually called the host controller in JBoss. Okay, so how we configure it, it define the names. So in a domain mode, we have only one master. So this host controller will call as a master, other will call as a slave. And we always create the servers and deploy the applications on the slave only, not on the master. Okay, mostly. Right. So this is a basic topology how it works. Like now, if you go to host, okay, so it will give you the information where actually all these master and slaves are exist as of now in your domain mode. So if I go to host, you can say this is my master, this is my slave, and this is my other slave. That means I had two slave servers are running here, right? So master, you can click on view. So it will give you the information about your master server. There are a lot of other configurations that you can see here. Similarly, you can click on save, and if you click on the view, okay, you will see the information about the save as well. Okay, so this is about the host, where exactly your these particular slaves are running. Okay, now if I click on master, so here there is zero server. If I click on slave, so I have one server, demo server 1. Similarly, on the second slave I have demo server 2. And if you see carefully here, below the name of server we have a server group. So it means this server belong to this particular server group, and in this slave 2 machine this particular server belong to this particular server group. So that means here both server belong to same server groups, right? So similarly, if you have multiple other server groups, you may have multiple servers. So all will be listed here, and the corresponding server group will also be listed with the servers here, right? Now if you go to server group, so here it will list the server group. So we have one server group, hello world server group, and it has two servers, demo server 1 and demo server 2. So this is the same thing what we have seen here in the topology. Server group, hello server world group, slave, slave 2, we have two slaves, and then demo server 1 on slave 1, demo server 2 on slave 2. Same thing what we are seeing here. Host, we have a 3 host, master, slave, slave 2, and we go to server group. So we have one hello world server group, and this particular server group has two servers, right? These are the two servers that we have, right? Now whenever we configure any server groups, or when we do a deployment, okay, so there are two important things, okay. One is called the profile. Okay, so in domain mode, there's a great importance of profiles. We have a different kind of a profiles like full HA, load balancer. For 5 or 6 kind of a profiles are there in JBoss. Okay, and each and every profile has the functionalities. What kind of functionalities you want? For example, you want to use a JMS, you want to use the load balancing, you want to use the data source, you want to use the EJBs. So based on your requirement, you can use the particular profile. That means whenever you create the server, so you can select the particular profile. Okay, so basically the main concept what I show you here, the servers belong to server group. Okay, that means this is the everything. Whenever you are creating a server group, at that time we provide which profile it belongs. Okay, so now suppose that if I go to create a server group, now I'm going to create a server group. I need to create certain servers, and then I'm going for the deployment. Okay, so very first thing I will go to server groups, click on plus here to add the server group, and then you have to give a server group name. So let me give demo server group. So when we create the group, we have to assign the profile. So you can see here the profile as a default, full HA, and load balancer. These are the different profiles. Okay, so to understand what are the different features that is available with the profile, then you can look up for the documentations. Okay, but and then it is available from the console as well. Okay, so suppose that I want to go with the full HA profile. Okay, so I have set the full HA profile, and for each and every profile we have a corresponding socket group. So I have selected the full HA. So there would be a corresponding socket group, full HA sockets, like this one. So suppose that if I am going to select here the profile only full, so here you have to select the full sockets, corresponding sockets. Okay, so sockets means nothing but because WebLogic JBoss is use the multiple sockets, okay, multiple ports for functionality. Okay, so socket is a grouping of the different ports, how it is going to use the ports. Okay, so for each and every profiles you will have a separate group of sockets which contain different kind of a ports that is used by the JBoss. Okay, this is the main important concept that you have to understand. So now you will realize that, okay, what is the important when you are going to work in the JBoss in the domain mode, which is a production mode. Okay, production we always have domain mode, so you have to understand what is profile, what is the meaning of profile, what are the different kind of a profiles that we have, right? And then socket binding groups. So we, for each and every profile, we have a corresponding socket binding groups. And whenever you select the profile, you have to make sure selecting the corresponding socket group here. So I have selected the full profile and then corresponding full socket. So now let me click on add. Okay, so now you can see the one profile group has been created. If I click on view, I can see the information about that as well. Okay, profile is a full profiles, and there is no JVM as of now. I have not added any servers as of now, and we have a system properties as well. Now go back. So what we have done, we have created one server group here. You wanted to remove, destroy, kill this, you can do it from here as well. Okay, now the server group is created. Okay, so what is the second part? Click on servers here. Now I want some servers to be part of this server group, right? Because we deploy the applications in the servers, right? So we need to create a server. So here click on your server group that you have created, and again in the server here 0, you click on the plus and then give the name of server. So like let me give the name DG server 1. Okay, and where it is going to run on slave 1. Okay, so we have as I said, we have a multiple servers, one master server, then we have a multiple slaves. So where this server you want to run? Okay, so we have two slave nodes, so we always create a server on the slave nodes where we deploy the application. So I want this server to be on the slave node. Okay, that means this machine where, which is with the name of slave. Okay, and then you can see the group automatically selected because we are creating this server inside the group, right? And then you can click on add. Okay, so you can see the server is added here. Okay, now suppose I want to get one more server. Again, click on here, name here, and let me give the name DG server 2. Okay, and this I want on the slave 2. Okay, now the important thing here, socket binding port offset. Okay, so now as I said, whenever we select or create a server, okay, whenever we create a server group, we have a corresponding socket with respect to the particular profile which we have selected, right? So if I'm going to create this particular server on slave 2, okay, and if suppose that this is on my same machine, which is actually the architecture in my case, okay, so my slave master, slave 2, everything on my same machine. So what I have done, I have installed JBoss at 3 location in my local system, defined as a master, 2 I have defined as a slaves. Okay, and then I have integrated my master with the 2 slaves. Okay, so what is happening in that case, if I go with this slave, okay, for DG server 2, okay, this is going to clash with the port with my first server, because this particular server group we have selected the particular socket binding group, okay, but there we have not defined the port offset. Okay, so that means if you are going to create multiple servers on the same machine, you have to make sure you are specifying the port offset. Okay, for example, if I specify here port offset 5, so what will happen, my suppose that DG server 1, okay, for let me write it here, DG server 1, a port assigned as 80 80. Okay, so for DG server 2, I am giving the port offset 5. So that means for DG server 2, the port will be 8085. That means plus 5. So that means every port that is used by my DG server 1 will have plus 5, because I have given the socket binding as 5. Okay, so this is how port offset works. So make sure if you are on the same machine and you are creating multiple servers which is going to be on the same host, okay, then you have to specify the port offset. If I'm not going to specify here and I will add it, then this server will not start. This will give me the error that it is a socket binding error. Okay, so now we have added these 2 servers, okay, and I will show you this one. Okay, it will not start. So let me start the server 1. This is my server 1. You go here and then click on start. Okay, you can see the life cycle operation has been executed, so it will take some time to start the server. Let me see if it is giving some error. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so this may be clashing with some port. Okay, so what I will do right now, I will quickly go here. Okay, and I will edit this, and again here I am going to add the port offset 10, because it may be clashing with some other servers in my particular system. Okay, so I have given the port offset as 10. Now go back and let me uh, restart it. Okay, and let me wait for some time. So now you can see the server is up and running, right? Why it was giving the error? Because you can see I have a hello world group here, okay, and I have 2 servers here. So some port that has been used by the servers here, it was getting clash here. As I said, it is everything on my same machine, right? That's why it is giving the error. So now here, yeah, I have given the port. So let me start the second server as well. Okay, so I have given the port offset as 5. So because I have multiple servers, if this port is going to be clash anywhere, it will not start. Again, the same error, right? So you can click on view, you can click on edit. So let me give the port offset as 20. Okay, so that means plus 20. Let me go back and let me try to start it. Restart. So in a nutshell, what I'm talking about, if you have a server group where I have a multiple servers which is belong to same machine, you have to make sure what is the port that has been assigned to a particular set of servers. Okay, otherwise you may feel you will get this kind of a clash, right? Other option is that we have one more option. Okay, if you don't want to define this port offset for each and every server, so what you can do when you create a particular server group. Okay, so now suppose that this is the server group that we have created. Okay, so during the creation of a server group, okay, you can specify the port offset as well. So this is the server group that we have created, right? Demo server. If I click on view and then click on edit, I can specify the port offset as 5 here, like this one. So now in that case, what will happen? Because now we have defined the port offset for server group as 5. So you don't need to define for each and every server. So irrespective of the any number of servers that you have in a same machine, whenever you are going to add the server and you are going to start the server, it will automatically going to take this particular port offset what we have seen here, right? So this is how your all these concept of server group, profile, socket bindings, and deployment is works. Okay, so now your servers are up and running. You have two servers which is part of demo server group. So now you can go for a deployment. You can just go to deployment, content repository, and then suppose this is the application that is already uploaded in my content repository. I can just go to deploy, and then I can select the my server group. Okay, so because whenever we deploy the application, we have to select a corresponding server group. So this is the server group that we have selected. So let me click on deploy. Now you can see my application has been successfully deployed on my server group. If I go here and I go for demo server group, my servers, okay, so here you can see the application URL. See, this is the URL for my first application. You can access it from here. Okay, okay, this is my browser error. Okay, just ignore it. Okay, now let me go back. Similarly, this is the server 2, and this is for the second server. Okay, so in a nutshell, I hope it is clear to you like what is server groups, what is the importance of server groups, and profiles, socket bindings, deployment. So whenever we create the server groups, so we have to assign profiles. Profiles, there is a corresponding socket groups which define the sockets and then corresponding ports. And then when you create the servers, you have to make sure a proper socket binding is defined, offset is defined. If server is going to be on same server, if they are on the different server, then you don't need to worry about port because it will be completely different on the different machine. So hope I am able to clear all this doubt to you, and soon I am going to post few more videos on each and every concepts. Okay, so if you still have some doubt, you will get complete clarity on all these topics. Okay, because I will post each and every topic separately as well.